Dr. Mihee Kang, Director Asia Pacific Global Sustainable Tourism Council, Korea, as our keynote speaker. Dr. Mihee will be speaking on the topic, Trends and Challenges in Making Tourism Sustainable. So before handing over the forum to Dr. Mihee, I would like to introduce Dr. Mihee to you all. Dr. Mihee Kang is Director Asia Pacific at Global Sustainable Tourism Council, as well as serving GSTC as country representative for Republic of Korea, a GSTC trainer and accreditation panel member. She was the winner of UNESCO 2000 Young Scientist Award as well. She had worked for Seoul National University, researching topics related to protected areas, management, and sustainable tourism. She became the first PhD in the field of ecotourism in South Korea and now serves a number of key positions in both domestic and international organizations, including the Korean Ecotourism Consulting Committee, the Korean Geoparks Committee, and the Asian Ecotourism Network. She has been also involved in UNEP 10 YFP Sustainable Tourism Program on behalf of Korea Ecotourism Society. In 2015, she co-founded Play Forest, a cooperative of sustainable travel business designed to benefit local communities and local activists dedicated to the conservation of their forests and to provide genuine community-based natural tourism experience to the visitors. She has actively participated in numerous ecotourism and protected area projects abroad, including Australia, China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Paraguay, and India, where she trained GOF Tigers auditors to be qualified auditors working for the GSTC accredited certification bodies. She has published many articles and books, including the first ecotourism book in Korea titled Ecotourism, Guidebook for Alternative Development and Management of Ecologically Sensitive Local Area, and the recent one titled Opportunities and Challenges of Ecotourism in Asian Countries. So with this introduction, I'd like to invite Dr. Mihee Kang, without further ado, to deliver her keynote speech. Thank you.
Thank you for your beautiful introduction of mine. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm Mihee Kang, working for GSTC as Director for Asia Pacific 7th International Conference on Hospitality and Tourism Management. I hope you are all good in the COVID-19 crisis. Today, I'd like to talk about the global trends and challenges in tourism. The contents I would like to cover today are shown on the screen. Let's see what's going on globally. However, we may need to check the trends before and after COVID-19, as the virus has changed our lives dramatically. Let's start with the global trends we had before the COVID-19. It's not that long ago. We may not be able to skip this phenomenon of over-tourism. It's not only issued in the cities, such as in Barcelona, Venice, Kyoto, or Seoul, or other famous beaches, but it happens in the remote area, especially protected area, such as Yellowstone National Parks or other World Heritage sites. So many people showed their reluctance or refusal of visiting those overcrowded places, criticizing some negative impact. But still many people, want to check out those places because the others visited the places. So it's a time for them to check and then post the photos on SNS. Have you ever joined a cruise tour? I haven't done it yet, but I'm not sure when I will take a cruise tour. I don't think it will happen soon in the future because I don't want to support the business if I can't be sure they are really taking serious effort to be more sustainable in terms of energy and waste management on board, and also provide more benefits to the places they stop by. Anyway, whatever we concern about the negative impact of cruises, more people showed their high interest in cruise tours and then want to join the cruise tours. Transformative and authentic experience was also high demanded. Endangered or diminishing places such as, two poles also had dramatically increased the number of tourists. More and more people concerned about not only environmental issues, but also social justice. So the various type of volunteerism was also listed as a hot keyword. Thankfully, growing number of holidays are designed for travelers in wheelchairs. Actually, there are amazing hotels providing better accessibilities to the people having special requirements with visions and sounds, including wheelchair access. And then there are growing numbers of tour operators providing tours to the people who need special cares. I met one colleague working in India. She has the parents having physical difficulties. She has never traveled at all, but when she grown up, she decided to open up her business for those disabled people. So she provides amazing tours to the people who never expected that they could join in the past. So that's a really positive movement. And then no plastic tours are getting popular among tourists, and more tour operators and hotels provide no plastic or less plastic options in their tours or facilities. But actually, I'm really concerned these plastic issues in the COVID-19 period, because the shops, are worried about the virus spread, so they use more plastics. There are already, some options, alternatives, but still, plastics are really cheap and easy to use. So they use more, disposable containers. But anyway, this is another new phenomena before COVID-19. And then another one is that we already discussed about the over-tourism issues, but still there are demands for co-living and sharing economic experience. Millennials also wanted a more unique, personalized travel experience, but showed more technology-based approaches. Thankfully, our millennials also cared about sustainability. What changed during the COVID-19 crisis, and then what the tourism will be, post COVID-19. Dr. Sranga and Dr. Kandapan already covered really nicely the challenges and some strategies in tourism, how we fight against this crisis. But let me share the changed consumer behaviors and then tourism trends. Consumers shockingly look for health-related products and they purchase them online. Their lifestyle is summarized with HOLO, not YOLO. We talked a lot about YOLO. You only live once. That was YOLO. But this is based on Korean credit cards consumption analysis, and then they put the name of HOLO. HOLO means alone in Korean, so it really reflects now the untapped society. Many destinations in tourism have reopened, and then I expect some more and more destinations will do, mainly for economic reasons. However, we all know what dangers it has, and especially if the condition is not well managed. So there are a lot of cute and wise the way to manage these difficulties, including some cases Dr. Kandapan showed us. But still, it's the first time we have this crisis, and then very difficult to fully manage the virus and then provide 100% safe environment. So if already people started traveling, but they really look for safest destinations and the safest accommodations. So mostly people check the more the big and then high-end options, because they believe they may have better skills and then the monitoring system of hygiene and safety issues. And then they check which site, which attractions, destinations, check the safety and have some distance. And then, yeah, there are some people already take international trips, but still there are a lot of obstacles, including some like 2 weeks quarantine period when you come back to your country. So people prepare domestic trips over international trips. And then outdoor setting is prepared to indoor settings. But that's very natural, and then especially natural area is most prepared. And recently, I'm taking one project related to healing forest. And when I visited about 10 healing forests in Korea, they could see very increased demand for the healing forest program. They want to stay in the safe destination, but also they want to, cure their some emotional and psychological issues caused by COVID-19. So we call it COVID Blue. So government also provides, the opportunity for the people who work in medical, area to, cure their psychological issues. So anyway, this is one of a trend. And online ticketing is required to reduce, contact. So many attractions require purchasing tickets online in advance, and then they don't sell their tickets, offline. And then, as you know, wearing masks, using sanitizer, and then checking the body temperature is a new norm to visit a certain place. So even I visited all remote forests, the first things I should be sure was was wearing mask, and then they checked my temperature, then let me in. So this is a new norm. So there are the changed environment in tourism and the different demands, but still there are unchangeable requirements. I would like to summarize that, with the two, with of climate action and sustainability, holistic approach of sustainability. Still some people refer sustainable tourism as a niche market or certain type of tourism or the natural tourism, but it's not. Sustainability is umbrella concept. All tourism should be sustainable, regardless of its size or locations. So we need really take action, stopping just planning or talking about sustainability. So they say this crisis is not about virus, it's about climate change. So not only COVID-19, the floods, heavy rain, and then the thunders, so the hot weathers, it's all, we confront with nowadays. So, and then the experts all conclude those are from climate change. So if we don't take actions, so we will have another difficulties in tourism. So tourism, is resilient, but still is very vulnerable. We can be impacted very easily. So we need more, take a holistic approach to, prepare and prevent and manage any kind of the challenges in the future. According to Booking.com, more people have intention to book an accommodation if it is more eco-friendly, whether they are looking for a sustainable stays or not. And thankfully, this result shows if you have a better environmental performance, you can get more money. So why don't we take more sustainable steps? So it's really time to talk more about sustainability. So I'd like to share some global good practices. Let me start with industry movement. You all know about the TUI Group. TUI Group is a big supporter of GSTC, and they really encourage their owned hotels and also partner hotels to adopt GSTC standard and also get certified against the GSTC recognized standard or GSTC accredited certification body. So many of you may already know about the GSTC and GSTC programs, but the important two programs are the recognition and accreditation. So GSTC recognized standard means a standard includes all requirements globally required. So basically, we review GSTC criteria with the applied standard, and then compare if they have all the criteria GSTC require. If it has, so we give recognition. So it doesn't mean their process of using standard to assess a certain organization or a product is, the right. Only it means the standard itself includes global requirements. And then with the process, we have another program saying accreditation. Let me explain about accreditation program a bit later. As you all know, big hotel groups have their own great sustainability programs, like a light stay system, Green Engage, Planet 21. And recently, Hilton Hotel Group, their light stay system, including many different types of guidelines and standards recognized by the GSTC. So GSTC basically recognize a standard, but also including standard, whole the approach of system we recognize too. So anyway, the Hilton IHG, Accord Group, they all have a great the movement, and then other hotels also have good examples. Recently, Green Views also system was recognized by GSTC. This company provide consultation to hotels, to be more sustainable. And then they use, the tool is a meeting GSTC requirements. I guess, more consulting companies use global the system. That means the GSTC framework to help the businesses more sustainable. So I would like to share what's going on in the business sector. ASEAN Green Hotel Standard is not GSTC recognized standard, but it gives really good impact to hotels in ASEAN countries. I have visited a few hotels using ASEAN Green Hotel Standard and then got awarded. They, showed all their high satisfaction level, and then saying when they, changed their practices and facilities, their client showed higher satisfaction, and then they actually could see more the occupancy rate. So they were so happy to invest their money to be more sustainable. And then we talked about the cruise lines. Cruise companies have a lot of issues, especially environmentally. But we also could see the good initiatives taken by cruise companies. Royal Caribbean Cruises is the second biggest cruise company in the world. They started this great initiative for the first time. So now another, the big cruise companies also came to GSTC. They really tried to be more sustainable. For example, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, with the support of WWF, they set targets with sustainable seafood and also tour operations. So they encourage their the partner tour operators when the places they stop by to get certified by GSTC accredited certification bodies. So this is not compulsory, but they give preference to the company who is certified by GSTC accredited certification body. So far, not many tour operators got certified yet, but more and more tour operators actually, talk to the certification body who, the certified tour operators to get certified. Then if there is a certified hotel, certified tour operators, of course, the Royal Caribbean Cruises, they will make a contract with them over not certified tour operators. And then these days people, make their trips online. So that are, big OTAs, and then Booking.com and Agoda also, the big the online travel agencies. So thankfully, Booking.com and Agoda, they also work closely with us, and then they are going to, show the certified hotels on the top list when you search the certain, the options. So if Booking.com and Agoda list the certified hotels on the top, I'm sure the other booking engines also follow this way. It means so when you do more responsible and get certified, you could have more the market share. So it's not just for economic, benefits, through their responsible behaviors, activities, so they can save their also management money. And then according to the research, actually, when the company take responsibility, the staff satisfaction is, higher than other companies. So we are really looking for Booking.com and Agoda's, the list of the certified hotels soon. They are now testing the tools. Now I'd like to share some practices in destination level. GSTC provides roadmap to destinations how to, take actions based on the global requirement. So before there was a discussed about the leadership. Leadership is really important, So when destination leadership understood the sustainability, they could, ask the other stakeholders to take actions. But before, we really need training to understand what's the right direction we can take. So I think academics, can help, the first and the second steps to persuade and train the leaders and also stakeholders. Then they may need to understand, what kind of challenges and risk they have, or what, opportunities they have. So to make some strategy to make the narrow gaps, in terms of sustainability. When they do a great job, they may look for the outside recognition, including, awards or certifications. So actually, proudly, we can say when destinations take the great management approaches with a long-term strategy for tourism management, they can get awards. It means that they also, take other benefits. So as you can see, the recent years, all the GSTC members, and then especially Tech GSTC criteria, they got awarded Tourism for Tomorrow awards, from WTTC. This year, there's no awards. So they are all, early adopters, and then still keep trying to, apply the destination criteria into their destinations. And there are good movements of the national level. So last year we had our conference in Address, Portugal, and then the representative from Japan, they announced Japanese government would adopt GSTC criteria as a national standard instead of developing their own standard. There are too many standards. So we really welcomed, and then they already started, the training. And then this is the Ecuador government also adopted the GSTC criteria as a national standard. Indonesian government also did, and then they have a great also the certification program launched. And Sri Lankan government last year also they, based on GSTC industry criteria, they developed Sri Lankan tourism industry standard, and they invited the many hotels to join, and then gave some different level of awards. So most of the hotels were the lowest level, but I think it was great to start, working with the industry. And then there are other, good initiatives, and then more, cases we have. And thankfully, it's a giant players so really try to be more sustainable and engage their partners. GSTC itself can't work with all the different stakeholders, but our partners and members really impact positively to their supply chains. So we really have a positive, expectation. Yeah, there are great movements, but still we have a lot of challenges that start with the destinations. According to my experience with the Korean destinations and other destinations, especially in Asian countries, still there are a lot of changes with environmental issues. And then also there are, lack of good management system. So if we don't have a good management system or plan, how can we carry out, those in the field? According to Greenpeace University's research, less than half, percentage of UNESCO sites don't have plans to manage over-tourism challenges. If they don't have, how we can expect other destinations have a plan to manage over-tourism? And then, as you can see, only 47% of the UNESCO or the heritage sites have specific indicators to monitor. So if we don't have indicators, how can you monitor the impact? So, and as you can see in Asia, the tract is the lowest ratio we can see. And there are a lot of other issues with the industry. The big hotels usually do better, and high-end hotels do amazing practices. But still, there are many challenges, including sustainable water resources. There are too much groundwater use, and then there's no proper treatment of wastewater or other waste. And then we always talk about empowerment to staff or the local community, but it's very hard to see those. Still there are a lot of top-down management in destination level or the industry, the business level. You are mostly from industry, so let me give 2 examples. These days, many hotels have the green policy of reuse of towel. So whenever I checked in and I showered, I hanged my towel because I can use it 2-3 times, as I do at home. But when I came back, then I can see beautifully washed, fold new towel. So they have the policy, the reuse of towel, and then they nicely, have the what's the sign saying, let's protect our, Mother Nature and our planet. But the housekeeping, the part, they don't practice those because they worry about complaint from the customers, because some customers don't understand those policies. They just it's a habit hung the towel, but wanted a new towel. But in this case, they may not know their policy exactly, or they don't trust the leaders to take responsibility about the complaints. And another issue is that one time I visited one high-end resort, and then I heard all the great plans and the policies they have. And then I wanted to see some facilities, and then they took me to employees area. And then I could see on the wall there are a lot of announcements and plans, policies, sort of things. But those are all written in English. But that country is not English-speaking country. So I asked the manager how many staff can speak or read English, and he said the manager level they can, but not the other staff. So why they write those in their language, not instead of English? So I didn't criticize there, but that's just to show what they are doing, not really what they are doing. So it was a really disappointing experience. And carrying capacity management, it's hard, it's difficult, but we should do. Otherwise, you make the people unhappy. And not only the communities, the businesses can lose money, not because of COVID-19 virus, but because of failure of carrying capacity management. So now I'd like to talk more about the certification, because GSTC is for standards and then certification. Certification means you are doing what you are claiming to be doing. It's an official process to prove an object or organization has certain characteristics. There are many ways to show the certain sustainability activities of hotels to operators or destinations. But there are too many labels that confuse the customers. How many labels can you recognize on the screen? There are over 300 labels, including inactive one. So, but here only the 60 something. But can you recognize at least half of the labels or more? If you recognize most of the labels, how much do you understand those certification programs mean in terms of sustainability? They are full of claims of eco-friendly, responsible, caring local community, or animal welfare. But how much do you trust them, or how can you trust of those claims? According to the Booking.com's survey, the higher cost and the lack of information tackle people in sustainable choices. When you travel, when you plan a trip, which sector do you actually need more information on certification for your responsible travel? The graph on the screen shows the answer of Korean nationals to the question how much they need certification information about each sector of tours, accommodations, and destinations. As you can expect, people demand the certification information most about destinations, but people also have a high demand for hotel certification information. you know, people usually use TripAdvisor or other bloggers, writing. But there are also some fake or exaggerated, reviews. It's not third party. It's the personal experience. So we need to give, the better information that can really trust. So I'd like to introduce the GSTC and accreditation program very shortly. GSTC was established as the leading global authority in setting and managing standards for sustainable tourism in 2007 by UN agencies and a major global environmental NGO with support from over 30 organizations. So far, there are two sets of GSTC criteria have been developed. One is industry criteria and another one is for destinations. GSTC doesn't directly certify hotels, tour operators, or destinations, but we accredit certification bodies who audit and certify hotels, tour operators, and destinations. We assess a certification body with its management system and certification process if they have impartiality and transparency. We found some certification programs in tourism, they only, assess on the desk. The document will be only, they never visit, on site. So the document can be beautiful, but the practices can be different. So we assess the certification body, they really take the whole reliable process for certification. There is a total of 7 certification bodies that are accredited by GSTC. Some certification bodies certify both hotels and tour operators, but some do only tour operators or destinations. Here is Travel Life. There are 2 types of Travel Life. One is Travel Life for hotels. The office is in UK, and another one is Travel Life for tour operators located in Netherlands. And then this accredited certification body is Travel Life for tour operators and not hotels, but they closely talk with us to be accredited. You see many eco labels in daily life, including coffee or papers. Tangible commodities may be a bit easier to be certified than intangible services. Basically, tourism projects, including hotels, are services, even though there is a physical, buildings that are, and so services are mostly intangible. However, there are companies and destinations apply the GSTC framework and then work with their supply chains to make tourism more sustainable. When we say this hotel is sustainable, it means not only that building or their management system itself, but also their partners who provide food materials or the safety guarding, whatever, they should be sustainable. So the certification programs usually check all the supply chains too. So anyway, if you need more information on this, please visit the GSTC website or contact me. I'm happy to share more information on this. Okay, now it's the final section of what we should do afterwards. Standard, can be used as guidelines, training materials, or internal audit by individual industry or destinations. And certification can be used for them to have a better reputation and market share. Of course, there are possibilities of greenwashing, misuse of a certification, and so on. Anyway, if you follow the standard, it means there are actions taken. Those actions should be regularly monitored and reviewed for better approaches. We shared some the trends and challenges in sustainable tourism. So, but again, the standard could show the direction where we have to go. For example, GSTC criteria include all safety and then risk management issues. So people may not think about this kind of a pandemic could impact on their business, but through this experience, when they developed their multi-year plan, I'm sure they will include those, the plans. So I'm not sure you know about the Slovenia's sustainable tourism certification program. And then when we had a webinar, the participant asked the Slovenian the program director managing that certification program, asking, in this pandemic period, is your certified businesses survived better? And then she said, yes, can't say 100%, but it seems they have more, I can say, ability to deal with the difficulties because they have their plan in advance, not specified for virus management and this pandemic situation, but still they have some preparation internally. So in Slovenia, opened their the tourism destination very early than other European countries. So anyway, certification is not always well understood or well appreciated, but it plays an important role by providing the discipline to improve in all aspects of sustainability. It provides impartial evidence that the business or destination is delivering on its claims, and more there are market benefits to certification. It's more accessible than you may think, but the quality of certification varies widely. So we need to give thought when we select the certification body. We are mostly from academia, so our role could be research, but sharing, and then shows the direction to the government, and then help them to make the better plan. So GSTC criteria includes what kind of element you have to include in the plan. So if you are not familiar with GSTC criteria, please visit our website, and then you can download the criteria for free. And then there's Bahasa Malaysian Bahasa version, Indonesian Bahasa version, and also because English, you are mostly from English-speaking countries, but Japanese, Korean, Chinese, we have a lot of different language versions. So please check out the criteria and then teach your students and other stakeholders. So it's easy to talk and then make a plan, but the more important thing is, stop planning or stop talking, but take actions. So that's all I prepared today. Thanks for listening my presentation, and then apologize about the personal technical problems, and I wish you all happy journey of sustainable tourism by sharing your knowledge and your experiences and learning from others through this conference. Thank you very much.
TIIKM, the International Institute of Knowledge Management.